Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Ain't That Right? I'm your host, Duncan Dad, and we are on the boat, on a boat, and we are pulling out of the port right now. Obviously, you can see the mountains in the background. This is Tenerife, however you want to say it, the Canary Islands out here in the Atlantic Ocean, just south of Spain and Portugal. And just wanted to bring everybody on board the little adventure with me here. I know we missed the last couple of days, and a lot of stuff's going on in the NFL. Lions handled their business last night. However, a lot of questionable calls. We're going to be watching that as well. The Eagles did their thing, took care of their business. Blue Jays, George Springer, Dinger. Nothing like a game seven, man. Nothing like a game seven. So we have Dodgers, Blue Jays, World Series. A lot of chatter, a lot of talk. Obviously, the Dodgers are heavy favorites, but sometimes there's just a little bit of magic in baseball. And it's been 32 years since the Blue Jays have been there, and reminiscent of the Joe Carter home run way back when. Don't like it as a Philly fan, but my goodness, fantastic that it happened for this city and the people of Toronto. And, you know, maybe just maybe, right? And shout out to Hoffman. Never closing it down. Obviously, couldn't do that with us, but he went 1, 2, 3 in the ninth to put him into the World Series. Um, yeah, so good times. And I think right now, I just want to do is I don't know how the connectivity is, I don't know how long it's going to last, and just wanted to jump on, say hi to you guys, let you know that I'm thinking about you. Can't wait to do this a little bit later on in the week. Sometimes when you're doing traveling and you're making your connections and running into people, you get a little off canter sometimes. But shout out to everybody back home. Shout out to Miss Levant. Shout out to Angel. Shout out to Debbie. Shout out to the kids. Shout out to everybody back on the stateside. We are 5 full hours ahead of where you guys are at now. So it's 5:40. I know we started a little bit early today, so 12:40 there back on the East Coast. But like I said, I wanted to get it in before we completely got away because there is cell service, there is internet connectivity. But as you travel around the world, you realize sometimes that the creature comforts at home are not as advertised. Yo, man, what's up, Trev? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, want to do the upper bowl, want to be there, want to put that together. But today was like the first day where I got some bit of steady connection, and I'm trying to figure out if it's going to hold up on the boat. There's people with a lot of spotty issues going back and forth, but great episode. Make sure you check it out. Upper bowl on all of the platforms: Instagram, Twitter. Trevor and my guy Jake Reitman, our guy, they held it down. They broke everything back, and it'll be nice, man. We're trying to do it, trying to get everything to work together. But it's just nice to see everybody's face again. It's nice to see everybody in the chat. Shout out to Penguin out there. Shout out to my guys out in Colorado. Shout out to my East Coast homies. Yep, we still see you guys. And I know it's just been fun, right? And I think one of the best things about traveling is that you figure out number one right away, like your necessities. Like some people, you have to have connectivity, you have to have the internet. Other people, complete opposite. Disconnect, beach, sunshine, pool, hot tub, whatever it is. Other people, architecture, culture, the churches. Myself, that's what I did, and I appreciate it, and I want to go and experience it as much as I possibly can. I want the food. I want the tapas. I want to feel the essence of the people. That's one of the great things about places like New Orleans on stateside. Yeah, what's up, Ricky? How you doing? Babe? Nice shades. Yeah, this is my Euro look right now. These are my Euro shades. Normally, I have the throwaway shades. Miss Ivana will tell you that's like the cheapest ones in the world because I'm notorious for losing sunglasses. Like get into the ocean, forget to take them off, lose a pair. Go out to a baseball game, try to put them on shade, lose them, go away. So this is my, semi good Euro whatever okay kind of pair. So I've been keeping an eye on it, keeping track of it. But like I said, today just taking in this little island, and the beach is so far away from the port in a lot of these places, and it was just it got to be so much of a time consuming effort to get there. And not that I didn't want to go and experience it because obviously the beaches here are beautiful and, put our toes in the sand and see the water. But I wanted to get in, with the people. And there was a little local little siesta holiday sort of thing. And you'll notice when you travel that everywhere you go, the particular cultures and customs, they come up where, hey, listen, we don't work after 1 o'clock. I walked out the other day and we're in, we're in Seville and Cadiz. Went to the cathedral. It was beautiful in Cadiz. tried to come back out and grab myself a little espresso. Not a cappuccino, people, because after 11 a.m. you don't do that. Just an espresso and a quick espresso, right? Nice when you take and you hit it. And I got it, but I got it only after I had to like twist the arm of the person who was running their store because at 1 o'clock they were shutting down. Like we're done. We take the rest of Sunday off, and good for them, right? And what I think we should just get into today before we completely lose all of our connection is we slow down in the States and we slow down in Western culture when like one of two things happen. Either we just get to our breaking point where we've just run out of all energy, we've run out of every one of our resources, and we're just drained, or God forbid something happens, right? To take it upon ourselves to make that time and then actually enjoy it, it takes all the parties involved, right? We don't always necessarily do it on our own, right? It takes the culture, it takes the people around you, it takes your friends, it takes your circle, it takes all the priority practices and the disciplines to sit there and look at each other and say, hey, look, chill for a minute, right? I got you. Just relax. No big deal. We're gonna work through this. We're gonna get through it. You need a break for a minute. You've been grinding at work. You've been, burning the candle at both ends. You're always available to this person, always available to that person. Now this is for you. But when you put yourself in those situations and then you find yourself in a spot where you don't get the same energy back that you need, then it's almost like a double entendre, right? It's more draining. So then you're searching even more for something to compensate for it. You're searching more for something to make it back up. And when you don't have these little outlets to go and sort of, re-up yourself, refill the bank, you can get kind of, out of the way. Things can get out of hand. So if you have the opportunity, if you can take it about yourself, find a way to create it for yourself. Find a way to do these things. And if you're given the opportunity, I was talking to, people obviously, because I'm this extroverted, outgoing type of person, like, hey, where you live, what's going on? Super Bowl is coming up, and Olympics are coming up, and a lot of international crowd, and you're trying to network, you're trying to put people together, you're trying to build these bridges and these foundations. And the one thing that I've heard on both sides, I'd say almost 50% is like you have individuals who are like, I was empowered and I had a better go round when I started saying yes to everything. Yes, I'm going to figure it out. Yes, it's going to be okay. Yes, it's going to work out. Why? Because on the backside, everything that exists is always going to be there, right? That stuff is always going to be there. And then on the opposite side, it was individuals who needed to take a different approach in so much as they needed to say no. And in the no, they were putting themselves first. They were putting their priorities first. They were putting the priorities in their life first. And when you hear this in such a mix, but those are the clearest answers. It's not the wishy-washy, it's not the in-between, it's not the planning, it's not the build-up for it. Um, I was on vacation and was talking to, my most favorite person in the world, and we just like, hey, listen, what are we doing for holiday? This sort of worked out. And it's like, all right, just go ahead and do it. And, you have shout out to Eminem in Detroit. Right? A lot of Detroit fans on this boat, man. A lot of Detroit fans. You get one shot, one opportunity. Like you really do. It doesn't mean you don't fuck it up. It doesn't mean you don't, do some crazy stuff. It doesn't mean that you just throw caution to the wind and nothing else, happens and goes down. But you're willing to take that step. You're willing to take that chance. And obviously, Murphy button, right? We always talk about there's always the necessities. You always got to pay your bills. You always got to stay on top of things, yada, yada, yada. But so many times we fall into this trap of not saying no when we need the time for ourselves, or we don't say yes when this new adventure presents itself. Because when's it going to come back around again? And really, when you take advantage of that or you decide to commit to that, how much is it really affecting you? A lot of people will always say, oh, well, I don't know if I can manage that now. And if I do this now, there's like the 3, 6, 9 month rule, right? It's going to affect you in 3 months, going to affect you in 6 months, it's going to affect you in 9 months. Now, obviously, if it ticks those boxes and you're like, hey, wait a minute, I need to be a little judicious, I need to be a little temperance here. If not, and you're able to do so, it take advantage of life, right? We take advantage of these opportunities, and it doesn't have to be grand things. You don't have to be getting on a boat. You don't have to be getting on a plane. It's taking the 30 minutes, for yourself. It's taking the extra hour for yourself. And we feel so many times that if we're not resting, like physically resting, then we're not recovering. Recovery a lot of times happens in activity because we're replenished, because they're not around people. They want to be around people. They need to be recharged by people. I know other individuals who they need to find that quiet, safe place and space within a much better spot. I mean, ran into a pair of sisters in Barcelona. They happened to be, you know, looking to do something. I was going to a Counting Crows concert. They both loved that. They were there for work. Completely awesome, great time, and just get blah blah blah. But this opportunity came. I'm half the world away from where I normally am, and here three complete strangers are sharing a commonality in arts and culture and music and architecture, and it just makes you realize that for as big as things are, for as crazy as things get, for as busy as things can be, the 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 reality is we're all super close, and we all can have this effect and you know this movement with one another, and it's just a wonderful, powerful thing. And you listen to some of these shows, and they really want to get away from, listen, I don't care what you think this way and what you think that way and how this that, like, you know how are you as an individual, how are you as a person, how are you contributing, what are you doing for your life. And the message just doesn't resonate like in your own backyard, it's worldwide. It's a really cool thing. Like, it's a really cool thing, and one of the best parts about traveling is that you see this, and especially in the younger people. You see the younger people, and they're out there, they're working these cafes, they're working at these clubs, working these restaurants, they're, doing their little stores, and they're grinding and they're hustling, and, they're trying to just make their living to move on with their life. And it's it's just really cool. It's a really cool thing. And, I would just say if anyone has an opportunity to take advantage of whatever opportunity presents itself to you, go ahead and chase it. Go ahead and chase it. If anything, you're going to learn from the experience. So the next time it comes up, maybe you don't want to do it. Maybe you do want to do it. But I'm not going to keep everybody super long today. I'm super excited about, you know, playoffs happening. I'm super excited about getting back and be able to watch some football. I'll be off and on. Hopefully, I'll jump back on around Thursday. See if I get the connectivity working up, and jump on with everybody else and wish everybody good luck. But just be good to yourself. Be good to everybody out there. Be good to one another. Take advantage of the moments, and you know, find someone that you want to do this with, and commit to that and have fun with that and enjoy it, and share in the moments and share in the conversations and share in, the experiences. And, you can't take anything with you. You can always find a way to, cover your bases. Just, don't be afraid to put yourself, first. And by putting yourself first, putting yourself in a better position to be in better service to, others around you. But yeah, thank you guys for jumping in. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging out for today. And there's our bells as we get pushed back and we're rolling away. So, all right, guys, take care. I will see you all on Thursday. I'll try at least. If not, I'll see you on the weekend, and we will make sure everything is cool. All right, guys. Bye.